Hey guys, welcome to the 84th episode of the Soda Pop Podcast. As always, I'm your host, the Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
Let's game, Mitcha game, Mucha game. Oh, this isn't X8 we're talking about, my mistake. We're talking about Slash.
That was so long! But alright, yeah, welcome Malunis. We do not have a Josh this week because he's a working boy and he had to go to work. So it's just us two for this week. Happy holidays. I do believe this comes out Wednesday-ish, maybe a Thursday-ish. So happy holidays to everyone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would you say this is probably going to be the last episode of the year?
Are we not doing one next week?
Are we? That's what I was asking.
Next week? Wait. Oh, I don't know. We can. What happens next week?
Oh, I can scroll down to the blog posts.
26th. The 26th. Are you doing anything the 26th?
Yeah, probably be free.
Alright, cool. So, guys, we have an episode next week, hopefully. We'll see. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But for this episode specifically, we've got news to go through. It's not a lot, but what we get is pretty interesting stuff. Some interesting behind-the-scenes stuff that we haven't gotten in a while, so I really appreciated that. And then we are going to get into the topic of this week because we are extending our discussion of, hey, is Judo canceled?
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys talked about it not only in the comments from the last video, don't worry, I remembered this time, you also talked about it in the Discord, and we're just gonna, chat about it, respond to it, have a discussion about it. Anyway, let's dive in to the news, and we've got Slash and Jaou Dragon. That is the name, right?
Yeah.
Jaou.
That sounds right.
Okay. I only know him by Dark Joke, and I keep calling him just Dark Joke. But yeah, they are great. And there are a lot of things that go into what made these really good. And thankfully, we have 3 super serious points that G-Man wanted to take us through. The first of which is the metallic nature of these figures. So he notes that they went back and forth at least 10 times with the factory and whatnot to try to get down the metallic sheen for not just the purple but the pink on Slash. So both of these figures went through like 10 rounds of revisions, and hey, it paid off. It looks pretty good. They noted that Jaou Dragon's the purple that they used on Calibur's figure is the one that they used on the original one. So if you want to take a look and bask in its glory, you already have it.
Yeah. It's probably the best looking figure in that wave.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say so. Because it's not just the molded detail, it was also the painted detail that they were really excited to talk about, because there's a lot. And not just like big ones, but small ones too. So like,
yeah, we're gonna talk about big
heads.
one later.
Well, we're gonna. So the heads. I think Jaou Dragon has the eyes, the tiny little dragon eyes picked out, as well as some like trim detail. Same with Slash, and there are multiple colors on the head. They said to those of you who have gotten comfortable with them putting too much paint, don't get used to it.
Ooh.
But also, we did put too much paint this time anyway. So, yeah, it looks so good. They also talked about, specifically for Jaou Dragon, his cape, the inside fully painted.
Ooh.
Fully doused in black.
Ooh. Yeah, that was.
I love it.
That was weirdly recently. Blade Raider in our chat was saying like he hoped that the cape would be painted specifically.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
And not just that. Like a really cool thing they did was they put the copyright detail in the place that you peg the cape into, so you don't have to see it anywhere. Yes, that's awesome. I really appreciate that.
That's like the polar...
They didn't call it out specifically.
That's like the polar opposite of Another O's. It's just like the copyright detail.
Oh my god, yeah. Not only did it poke out, they also had to put it into the sticker.
That's for when you sell it at a convention and the person holding it is just like, but what company made this one? I really need to know.
I simply must know. I've never gleaned good enough information off any of those copyright things. The one time that it's helped out was when I was looking at my DC figures, and it turns out half of them are made in China and the other half are made in Vietnam or something. So that was strange. But outside of that, I've had no use for that information.
I wonder if there are mold completionists who are just like, I gotta have the one that was made in China too.
Oh no, I mean it's not. Well, like I say half the line. It's basically like Vietnam handles like DC heroes in general, and then China handles Batman stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, they at least separated it across those lines. It always felt weird to me that the figures and the boxes felt a little bit different, and they weren't exactly the same, but it makes a lot of sense now. Anyway, I think, that's not what this podcast is
I think
about.
I've shared this before, just because of the delays and the fact that we've also got all these combos to work with. I'm always really glad to see extra characters. And, man, this wave is looking good so far for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just that...
Because, we've talked about it on multiple occasions, but, like, I would rather have more characters than more forms. Like, as much as I love build, I don't necessarily, like, need just helicopter Rose. I have it, I own it, I wanted it, but it'd be cool to have a different character instead. You know what I mean?
And I've always felt like, Soto Saber is in this weird period. It's being released in a weird time. So just seeing this wonderful group shot of all these riders, it's like, no, things are going okay. They're doing better than I think they are.
Sure. If this is the lens that you would like to view the world from, that's perfect.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, Soto Saber, it's actually doing pretty well for itself if it's managing to do all these different characters.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Strangely, they are falling pretty far behind of RKF, which is something I do not like admitting, but they kind of are, and, someone was pointing it out on the streets yesterday. I'm like, yeah, sure. But also, these are still really good figures, and did RKF get to any of the movie figures for 01? I don't think so. So shut up.
You can take solace in two things. One, they spent half of the first RKF year on X8 and never made Poppy. Soto's got that. But also, you look at the latest thing they released for RKF, and it's like, oh yeah, looks like you're doing a little bit of Soto here.
A tiny bit. I mean, at least what I will praise them for is that RKF will release the arms, like the extra Jack and the Beanstalk or whatever arms with, their corresponding rider. And I wish that is how this worked out in some fashion, but because like I don't need an extra dragon dude figure. I would just like, I understand that is the vehicle that we are using to get us there.
Oh, you mean like Dragon Jakun
I would be fine with an accessory pack. Yeah, I don't need those. I know that you and Josh really want to make sure that every single in-show form is translated in some way. But
the only reason I do is just because it's like, Soto's been doing so well for years. in doing that, and this is the one where it's like, oh, this might not actually be possible for them to complete.
Sure, it is like a track record sort of situation, but I don't know. It's, to me, it's as I don't want to say this because all of this is frivolous, but it is as frivolous to me as getting every intermediary form for O's. Like, you can technically do it with everything you have, so don't get me wrong. Like, O's is covered. You're good. But
I'm also like, I think that if we don't get a premium Bandai set or an accessory set that resolves things like Dragon Peter, then that's fine. But I'm fairly confident that at the very least people are filling that out in the surveys.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I personally don't care enough. Like I said, more characters. Just give me more characters, and that's really what I'm.
There's actually
I'm
someone I'm now following on Twitter, like a Japanese toy customizer, who is doing a lot of really bizarre stuff. Like, they made 3D printed.
Is he the dude that remolded the entirety of Kuga's legs?
Yeah, they did like a full body thing. Well, just limbs. But they also, that same person also made 3D printed hands that have finger joints, I think.
Man, that is only achievable with SLA printing.
It looks very resin-y, is how I would describe it. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is because they also were trying their hand at doing helmets that have swappable parts. So it's like, oh, that's kind of doable if you want to go that extra route in 3D printing and modeling.
Yeah. Like, I feel like they shot themselves in the foot when Jakun decided to, like, weave its vine around Saber's sword head. Like, you didn't have to do that. I understand why you did it, but that really screws up any sort of, like, cohesion if you wanted to make this a really reliable gimmick.
And it's something I didn't even think about until I got Saber and Blades and realized, oh, their swords aren't actually compatible with each other.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a problem.
It's a bit of an issue, but, like, once again, I don't think it's Soto's fault. They're just adapting, you know, what they're seeing. Like,
blame Plex.
The moment, huh?
I said blame Plex for designing it that way.
Because the moment that Soto gets big is the moment that, you know, Toei is like, okay, well, I guess this is making us money. Let's make it easier for them. Let's design something so that they will have an easier time with it. Like, a gimmick that actually works.
Since then, when we first talked about that, I realized something, and it kind of goes back to what I said in that discussion, where I said, I think that a lot of this would make more sense if we actually got toy catalogs with illustrations, because then we would see exactly what was planned and what was tossed into the show at random.
Yeah, and on top of that, but they did talk a little bit. They did talk a little bit about, you know, what's planned and what's not, because they were noting that a lot of the work they do in terms of choosing the molded color of plastic, painting the figure, doing the seals, and molding the figure, all of that is done far in advance before any suit is either made or, like, they're aware of any of the suits.
Oh yeah.
And they said it outright here. And on top of that, they noted, hold on. They noted, by the way, the molding color paint, therefore, it is the fate of the current movement series that you do not know the appearance when it appears on the TV and magazines. The actual suit and the appearance on TV and magazines may differ. I make adjustments every day, including the speculation that, is this kind of brightness and color on TV and magazines? Like, he is adjusting it to make it look like what he thinks it would look like in the show. So there are, like, multiple tiers of guesswork that he's going through to make these happen.
Yeah. Oh, what I was getting at though, after that discussion we had about that, how like they're making one thing but not the other. I think in the case of Butasan here, the Three Little Pigs, they decided to make Dragon Butasan instead of Dragon Eagle Butasan from the show. And I think that it makes more sense now to me that they made Dragon Jakun and then Dragon Butasan, because those were probably things that they designed like for like what if forms.
Sure, I mean, like
because those
they
are,
would not.
Those are arms that are used by the other writers. So it's like, okay,
right.
Let's make the what if form that's just default form saber with this arm. And it's like, okay, so that's why Soto is specifically making those, probably.
Yeah, the thing that got the thing that tipped me off to that is like, oh, this has the Berghaus one. Why? We rarely see this one. So like that must have been changed. Like, so this is so far in advance, and because like why else would they have made that decision?
And it also goes back to what I was saying recently about how like I wonder how fight scenes are scripted out, because I can't imagine the script writer would be saying like, and this is where he uses Eagle and Butasan together.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
like something that someone else decides.
Yeah, because I remember specifically during the fight, he had two of his books in, and he's like, okay, well, I got to use Arthur. Instead of just slotting in Arthur, I'm going to take out Eagle and put Arthur right in.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we still need Arthur. And we are approaching, like, once book 4 is done, we're going to be moving into book 5. Well, that's just how numbers work. But 5.5 for 01 is where we got, the EX stuff. So I'm wondering where that's going to come into play here. We're approaching that around that time, that season.
Well, I will say potentially next week is an opening, because all they really said here is sample review of Kamen Rider Saber next week.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would specify things like, oh, Soto Saber book 4 coverage next week, but instead just left it vague.
I mean, we'll see. Sometimes it means something, sometimes it doesn't. Other times they're like, well, we didn't say that we'd reveal this next week, but here we go. All of shodo-x 12, all in one go. Let's do it.
But always, next week, definitely, do not miss it.
Do not miss it. And I do want to, if we are going into the speculative portion of book 4, it is a 12-pack on Ami Ami, and it does say these are randomly assorted. Not from a maker's rate of 12. It says randomly assorted. And I don't know, because, like, it's remained that way for a while. And I remember we had this discussion like, oh yeah, it's probably a placeholder. And it probably still is. But, what if?
What if it's 5 figures instead of 6?
It could be.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But what do you think? So we could probably guess around like 2 to 4 boxes worth of figures. What do you think is coming up here?
Well, I will say, just to put out there first off, Crimson Dragon, Kenzan, Jaou Dragon, and then Slash. So that's already 8.
Yeah.
Blade Raider made a point of how, like, the arms for these extra riders, I wonder if there's a term for characters like Buster, Kenzan, and Slash. The ones who have that specific buckle.
I was about to say the old people, but Kenzan is not.
He's a gremlin child.
The child and the grandparents.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is Blade Raider made the point of the arms that go with them aren't really in the same wave as them. Like
Sure.
Jackoon got released a wave early. I think that sort of pattern can be broken. It has happened before. So I'm going to say Bremen is going to be in this one.
Bremen no Rock Band. Well,
Yeah.
my logic
Dragon
for
Bremen.
that is that Saber is already in this wave.
Oh,
And we have
right.
to have at least one Saber per wave. So I think next time it'll be him plus Bremen.
That's a good point. Good point.
Because, like, I don't know... Unless next box is the brand new silver form and blue's bluer form.
Yeah, that's where I was going, is because I was like, what else is there to make? And I thought, well, if you go chronologically, I guess Bremen would be the next thing.
Yeah, definitely. But if they don't end up putting if they end up needing another Saber figure, they'll probably need to make Saber Bremen in the next one, wave 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my guess. Like, so far we've had at least one Saber per wave.
Oh, you know what? Forgot about 01. They've got plenty
Yeah,
of stuff to work with.
yeah, because we have what, 2 new forms potentially, or 1.
We have Arc Scorpion possibly realizing Hopper if they want to go for it. I will say, this is not a spoiler for the Saber movie, but there was like a profile shot of 01, and it specifically called out he was using realizing Hopper instead of rising Hopper. So that's still relevant in fiction.
It is. I mean, I would be fine with a realizing Hopper here.
I mean, hey, the key is not even visible on the figure, so you could literally just like re-release Rising Hopper and just say it's realizing.
I wonder if they'll, like, oh no, what if they pull a Barlux and make a regular realizing Hopper and a blue translucent realizing Hopper.
I'm into it.
I'm into it. Yeah, I'll take it.
Hey guys,
I won't be super happy, but like, it's clear blue. It's cool.
You know, we didn't have to put any paint on this, so instead we put a bunch of money into just casting a bunch of different translucent plastic colors.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jaou Dragon is taking up a lot of the paint budget.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
I mean,
I don't know. Is it? I would assume that having multiple translucent plastic colors would be expensive, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's how you get the budget. It's just like, we got all this budget that we can waste. What can we do?
I mean, I already know that, like, just plastic in general, if you have 2 molded colors, that's more expensive than just one regular one, because that's 2 different sprues.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would like to see a realizing Hopper, and you know what, they have done such a good job in terms of balancing the budget for a wave recently. Like, anytime you get a 01 figure, it feels like there's not as much budget put into those. You know what I mean? So you can clearly see, like, this delineation between completely brand new stuff and sort of budget stuff that we can make Bandai happy with. Stuff we can release to calm down the Bandai wallet and help it not cry.
Looking at Abaddon there.
So that's another thing as well. As long as there are no more army builders or things that can be multiple things in this, I think for once, Saber is representing the majority of characters in his own wave. Asterisk. And the asterisk is, Soto is unpredictable. They could screw this up.
Instead of clear blue, what if it's a clear yellow? Like a lime yellow.
It could. I would like that. But, like, they're always doing, anytime they have an image of 01, they retroactively try to make you think that it was bluer than it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying blue.
Oh no, we got the concept art of Realizing Hopper. I wonder if that was made like in response to the final episode, or if that was like their initial concept for it. So it's like now I'm wondering how's he gonna respond to this concept art?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to like
Rising Hopper in metallic colors, maybe.
I don't want to discount the ability of an artist, because you and I are both artists, but also, come on, how hard is it that you drew lines on it? How hard is that? Like, if they decided on doing this before concept art was made for a suit, and then they're like, shoot, okay, reuse a suit and then just modify the existing one. That's not hard. That would not be that hard.
Well, also, like, the quote-unquote concept art is just Rising Hopper with a bunch of bloom and colored lines around it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we could do that in a weekend, if that.
Yeah. 5 minutes.
A few minutes. Heck, I could do that in PowerPoint. Anyway,
But yeah.
Alright, so...
there's other things that they could also make for 01. We got the announcement of Netsubo Jinrai getting a spin-off.
That's true. I feel like it might be a little too early to get that, but...
Yeah. There's a... When does it come out? It's sometime next year.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where
but
it's one of those things where its proper DVD release is a few months after the theatrical thing.
And it's really cool that they are for this Kamen Rider Others thing that they're re-releasing the Double Driver.
For a hot second, I was looking at it like, is that actually? No.
Man, but it is just a faceplate, I'm sure. Either way, I'm excited to see what happens with that. Because I'm sure we're going to get some...
We talked a little bit about it in the spoiler section where we were like, what suit are they going to reuse? And I just like, Hell Bros. Just, that's a combined form, so maybe it makes sense thematically.
Hell yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that any and every day. They were robot... Well, one of them was the robot-esque. They're robot-adjacent. They've got gears. Yeah. And there's a Sentai with it. You could confuse a grandma with it to have them buy that instead of the thing you wanted. It works out.
Here's that Power Ranger.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think if there was a chance to get a Realizing Hopper, now would be a good one. But also... No, yeah, I mean, if Realizing Hopper is going to be one of the stars of the movie, then it would make sense to re-release it. Or at least say you will. This doesn't come out until, like, 2 months from now, right?
I think this may be January?
Yeah, like late January, early February.
Because,
let me check Ami. Late January. Just January.
Yeah. Because book 3 is end of December.
Yeah, like late December. Which is good, so then hopefully I could just push off my order into the next month.
I was about to
what
say,
else comes out this month?
After they, again, pushed back everything, it's just like, at this point I'm not keeping track. I'm just going to assume it's next month. Just going to assume it, and if it is actually like a month where I don't have to pay for it, then that's good. Be a nice surprise.
Let's see. I'm just gonna be taking a look at my orders. Don't mind me, because I do want to know: is that the only thing being released this month?
I don't know.
Was there a shodo set?
I don't keep track of anything but soda at this point.
I know. Yeah, that's fair.
I think I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was on the podcast or if it was in the chat, but I definitely said, Oh, you know what? I've never really noticed how far away all the Shoto stuff is from when it's revealed on the blog because I don't buy it.
Fair. Yeah, it's looking like it's the only thing this month outside of the Kuga, I think, bike and beetle thing set.
The go now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be expensive. Oh well. Anyway, hey, are we good on this news?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Zenkaiger?
Let's take a well, with Zenkaiger comes a bit of speculation on, if Yudo's ending. And we threw it to you guys to see what was going on. And before I forget, I'm going into the comments of the last episode to find what Peacemaker2448 had said. He wrote a big comment, but the one pertinent to this discussion. As for Yudo, I feel like it's best to wait and see. As with the descriptions of Zenkaiger material, there seemed to be a lot of crossover of material applying to it, Mini-Pla, and this new line. If Yudo needs a new direction going forward, I would say adopt Soto Chronicles mentality and do older series. Every couple of months, throw out a team as a set, and since the line isn't handcuffed to Super Mini-Pla, it could act as a complement to Super Shoto by doing teams outside of their current lineup. I feel like they have such an aversion, and they are so scared to release female figures that they would be even more scared to release something that isn't recent and and have girls in there. Like, I'm not saying, as much as I want them, I think Bandai's too scared to make that leap, especially because, like, this is a very young children's line, and I don't know if there's as much collector crossover as there is with Kamen Rider.
At this point, seeing the group shot of the Zenkaigers, I don't know what Sentai is doing anymore. I can't predict it.
That's true. It's not even a Sentai, so it's just one dude and his 4 robot buddies. Spoilers.
Great tweet from one of my friends where he said the broke way of looking at it is the Kamen Rider of Sentai. The woke way to look at it is, fuck yeah, metal heroes are back.
Yeah, I mean, dang. I don't see them do as much as I want it. That would have been in my wants list. Like, Chronicle Yudo.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. I don't think that they have enough faith in the market to make that happen.
Yeah. I wonder
that's what I'm thinking.
I wonder if this is something that they would have to talk about on their blog.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know if we dealt with that before, where they have to comment on ending a line.
What line has ended? Another has ended. That's similar enough.
I mean, it's Soto.
And they didn't talk about it.
But also, the Another Riders was not its own separate toy line. It was still Soto. So it's like, Yudo is its own toy line.
Well, I mean, they always change the name of Soto.
Yeah, I guess, but it's still Soto.
Yeah, it is. It is.
No way to get around this. Yudo's dead.
They is Shoto DBZ still going?
I don't know. Dragon Ball is kind of in this position where, like, they had their movie like a couple years ago at this point, and nothing has really come out outside of the manga.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that they're still releasing merchandise, maybe not Shoto figures.
Yeah. Maybe that line ended. I don't think we ever got blog posts of it, but that's one.
Did they
potentially.
Did they cover Shodo on the blog? I don't know. Or Shodo Dragon
I
Ball?
don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. But hey, all right. Let's get into what Dresden Nova is thinking. He says, I mean, I think the obvious answer for Yudo would be to go back and make some toys for older shows, or even just previous Reds and Sixths if that's all they think will sell. We have an anniversary season, make some anniversary toys. So that, if they were to go back, it would have to be that.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And the shame is, like, we sort of already have that, because that's all that they would do in terms of figures for a while. Even sometimes skipping Red and going to the Special Ranger.
Yeah.
Or because, like,
I was about to say, how do you
for
feel like...
Gokaiger, we didn't get any of the Gokaigers except for Silver.
Yeah. I was about to say, how do you feel about a whole line that's just like Red Ranger figures?
We had that with the action heroes already. I mean, at least this time I'll collect it, so...
I was about to say, technically, didn't Ranger Keys get released that way, in some way?
I guess retail was all Reds or whatever, mostly Reds.
I'm sure that they had I'm sure they had a plan with the teams, but it's because they did release all of them. But I distinctly remember seeing packaging shots of like, here's 5 Red Rangers.
I think so. I vaguely remember that. See, this is the issue. Josh is here. Josh is not here the only time we need a Ranger Key expert. This is his fault.
And we mentioned another writers. We're really doing dirty by accident.
I know! We... You're right! This is, by all rights, the episode he should have been on. Wow. What a loser. But yeah, I definitely agree that, like, if that happens, that'll be it. Unless, I do wonder if there is a situation where Zen Kaiser is able to form change between, like, by, like, being able to mix 2 Sentai gears together to make something. And that would be an interesting route for Yudo to go. Just him and his various form changes.
Was that confirmed?
It's not confirmed.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just thinking it'd be cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at
apparently it was rumored that he'd be able to mix 2 gears.
I'm looking at his chest armor. I'm just like, that feels very Rider-esque, and that seems like something that would be swapped out.
Yeah, and you can't really have these Sentai gimmicks without them doing something, right? Like, being used somehow with your changer in some way outside of an attack. Like, it can't just be an attack, right?
Well, Kira Major did have that gun that had a bunch of, like, foam disc things. That's
true. Well, I'm saying, like, if you're doing a gimmick show, like a show with a gimmick, you're obviously gonna have to have that gimmick be represented by something physical. Ryu Soldier had it. Gokaiger, obviously, they turned into different people. So, like, your gimmick has to do something physically. It might just happen to the mecha this year, but I would like it to be physically represented by a suit change.
Yeah.
And by the time this goes up, we will have already seen what is up on Zenkaiger's website, because that comes out tomorrow in terms of the right now time.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing some new official stuff. Yeah.
I love how, I don't even know if it was us who brought it up, but just seeing the silhouette of Zen Kaiser, the leader, just being like, well, I guess they're finally allowing themselves to do an insect-themed Sentai. Nope.
All right. Let's take a look at what Blade Raider is saying. Since we know what Zenkaiger looks like now, yeah, Yudo's looking rather dead. Since there's not much Yudo can add to the current series, and Shoto Super already does older series, what I would do is basically replace Yudo with a retail version of Shoto Super, maybe split the difference in some places, like more stickers and shinier plastics. Just please sell it like Super Mini Plot in team sets so there's no short packing or missing characters. I like that idea. By foregoing Yudo entirely and just saying, hey, this is an anniversary year, we're going to be releasing a whole bunch of Shoto figures.
Yeah, I was thinking when we were talking about what they could possibly do with Yudo, I was just thinking, I guess if Sentai's looking that dire, maybe they can just like down the budget a little bit and just be like more stickers, maybe a little less articulation, I don't know.
They could, like, they could get rid of that butterfly, because, like, they'll
be Soto-sized.
Yeah. I do wonder, as much as I do like the drop crotch, I don't find myself using it as much with Shoto figures. So you could just, revert it back to, instead of the 2 pieces, make it the 1 piece having the crotch plus the ball joint in the crotch, all 1 piece instead of 2 separate.
Y'all can just do Shoto versus or whatever the original one was.
Yeah, but yeah, I that would be cool. Just going whole hog on Shoto. But then, man, you know what sucks is that Shoto is on the shortest side of the candy toy spectrum. Well, Converge is, but in terms of articulated figures, that's Shoto. And then on the higher end, we have Yudo. So there is a huge deficit between the two. If you don't have Soto in the middle to split the difference, then what do you have? Yeah, no, I mean, that would be really cool. Malunis, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Were you saying something?
No. Hello?
What? Hello?
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Blade Raider and Tristan Nova went on to have a whole discussion. Let's see. I didn't read it yet, so I'm curious. I doubt they'll do full older teams outside of maybe like the Gokaigers and whatever other Sentai exist that print money.
Yeah.
And then Blade Raider says, then do Gokaigers. I'll print money for that. I mean, I'll take Gokaiger. If they wanted to do just anniversary team packs, that would be cool. It's strange though, like Shoto is on this strange cycle where they take forever to make just the 5 figures. And granted, they go through almost every single one of their accessories. But if they did do Gokaiger, they don't have much. Like, all you'd really need to do is make the swords, the guns, the combined swords, the throwy swords. I think that's it.
If you want to be the cool figure line, then you would also do things like Gokai Christmas.
Shoto's not that cool. I'm sorry.
Go on Wings. There probably
Sentai...
There's not a single figure of Go on Wings unless you count the Ranger Keys.
I would count the Ranger Keys.
Yeah. You know what?
Just
do a Gokaiger spin-off thing, like just some silly filmed in Toei's backlot spin-off thing where you introduce a new morpher. There you go. The figure line is going to be Ranger Keys. Just going to slowly release every Sentai that has come out since Gokaiger.
As Ranger Keys again?
Yeah. I mean, there's half of them don't even have Ranger Keys.
You are saying exactly what Josh wants to hear.
I was about to say, I'm speaking for Josh since he's not here.
That's fair. That's fair.
But also, I think that would be a neat
see.
thing to do, is all I'm saying.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just
Um,
do a better RKF is basically what I'm saying.
I do wonder if that's what that $15 price point is. I still hate that it's 12 centimeters tall. It still peeves me, and I do wonder what sort of articulation those are gonna have. If
Better have
you
something
know.
at that price.
Oh, I know, yeah, they have transformation mostly. Zenkaiser is gonna have probably a lot more articulation. See, I don't know. Am I going to be buying Mini Pla this year? Are those gonna be my Yudo figures? Where would I get a Zenkaiser? I don't know what I'm gonna do with this line. So
Yeah.
part of me really wants those gears. And the other part of me is like, oh wait. I can just print my own.
Aha!
And on top of that, hey, there's a Ranger that I really like that isn't the Red Ranger. I can put them in there. Like, I'm an artist. I can design that, like the cel-shaded look, and then import that. Or I can make my own. I can make rider ones. I can make whatever I want. Just depending on if they have electronics or not. That's going to be the wrench to throw in.
Yes, when I've shown some friends the 3D printed hands that I was making for Soto, they were just like, "You have gone mad with power." Like, yeah.
Too much 3D printing energy is dangerous. Yeah. All right.
Also,
I don't
think,
know what else there is to talk about here.
Well, I was gonna say we were speculating about what they would do with the mechas, like as a figure line, and we were like, what if they made figures that were just like the Red Ranger of this series? Well, now that I see the designs of these mecha, I don't think that's going to be a good possibility because these things are already referencing past series.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, this is outside of the candy toy discussion, but like, I like the idea, whether they act on it or not, that it is potentially implied that each Sentai could be represented by a mech, and if they do not make them, it's left up to artists like us to like fill in those gaps, and I think that's really cool.
You could pretty easily make different heads for the red one for each of the Dino Sentai. That's really all it comes down to, is just different heads.
For the Dino one, yeah, I guess so. You could, I mean, if you wanted to push the mold reuse aspect, you could potentially make the lion one. You could turn that one into Shinkenger. Potentially.
If we were repro labels, we would have an added advantage, where they'll just do things like take this this Transformer's head and just turn it back. Yeah, just put a sticker over the back of the head. You're good.
But yeah, I don't know. You got anything else here?
It's gonna be an interesting year for Sentai, tell you.
It is. I can't wait for it. Man, I'm itching to maybe get some of those gears. I don't have that money, but maybe. Oh, maybe.
I can assure you, once they put up merchandise photos for the DX toys, you will probably get a very good, high quality forward-facing gear.
I know, but I'm afraid of, what if it might not have like sounds, but what if it has like a chip? Then I'd need to figure out how to program one of those.
I guess we don't know exactly how big these are. If they're small, maybe they just do the thing where there's like a pin on the back.
I hope it's a pin. And then, because like typically they do the thing where like, oh hey, this gear just makes the sound Kamen Rider. So if any enterprising individual would like to go in, say I put up a base coin or a base gear, and people could put in whatever they want. Like, that would be fun. Like, you could make whatever you want, and it could just say Kamen Rider or something.
I wish more people had done this, but I always bring it up when this sort of thing comes up. Someone had done that for the Ghost icon, where they just made a custom plate with all of the pegs, and you could just, like, cut off some of those pegs yourself.
Nice.
It's a shame no one did that for, like, the full bottles or Ride Watch or whatever.
Yeah, well, like, the full bottles, they had the molded, like, you know.
That part's removable.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. I guess all you would really need is, like, the back plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was, basically. You just disassemble the Ghost icon, put that new part in, you're good.
Well, all right. Malunis, did you have anything else before we got out of here? No, got out of here?
No, good discussion.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you had some happy holidays. I believe, is Hanukkah over at the time of this recording?
I'm not sure, but whether it's over or not, happy honk.
Happy honk. Hey guys, happy Honda days from us to you. Thank you so much for listening. If you like the episode, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. I don't know if I said that already because I always say it. I feel like I've said it at least once per day this whole week because I've done a lot of videos. And if you want to check out what I'm doing, I've got Go Mango, where I'm not only doing the weekly watch-alongs of every single new episode of Sentai Rider Ultraman. We're doing reviews on every single episode of Sentai Rider Ultraman. On top of that, anytime news breaks, I'm up at 4 a.m. making a video. So go ahead and check those out. Also, a few days ago, I had a live stream with Matt Hunt, breaking down whatever happens on to the Zenkaiger site. So that's just gonna happen. We're doing it the day of, but if you missed it, there's probably a live stream recording, unless it got taken down for copyright. Who knows? Also, I got a brand new DC channel, DC Spin Master, where I'm tracking the DC Spin Master line.
I was about to say, that's what it's called. DC Spin Master.
Because no one else took it. I have that Twitter as well.
I would be surprised if there's not a DC villain called the Spin Master. That actually does sound like it.
There is a Mr. Twister.
Close enough.
That is as close as I know. Yeah.
He'd be the henchman to Spin Master.
Yeah, anyway.
Oh.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. One more thing I forgot to mention before. I have a Redbubble again. So if you want some Rider logos on random merch, go for it.
Hell yeah.
I've also got random things like the Gen Corp logo, if you want to put that on your favorite video game console.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah, put that on. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. Keep it
juicy.
Toot toot beep beep. Happy honk.
Ha ha ha!
Angel Nutsとグレーテル。銃剣撃弾。今剣で行くぞ。音銃剣。ねえ。騒動は。